A very good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at Adisawe Kanda on Facebook. We're live on TV3 Ghana and on DSTV's channel 279. My name is Josh Queen.
And I am Judith Brown. Coming up this afternoon. President John Dramani Mahama meets with Malian leader to strengthen diplomatic ties.
Residents of Kambuli in the Western region appeal for construction of an overpass on the busy Côte d'Ivoire highway.
And later, we'll take you to the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi, where government is taking steps to fix streetlights on some highways. Welcome to Weekend Central. We start a bulletin from here. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has met with Malian leader General Assimi Goïta as part of efforts to engage with neighboring countries and strengthen Ghana's policy of good neighborliness. Now, he was received at the airport by General Assimi Goïta before their meetings at the presidential palace in Mali. President Mahama will continue his visit to Niger and Burkina Faso.
I want to thank my brother, President of the Transition, President Goïta, for the warm welcome we've received since we arrived here. As a brotherly country, everybody knows the historical relations that have existed between Ghana and Mali since the period of our first presidents, Modibo Keïta and Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana and Mali have had a very close relationship. And so I came on a friendly visit, and also to thank President Goïta for allowing Prime Minister Mega to visit Ghana when I was being inaugurated as president. That was a good sign. It was appreciated by the people of Ghana, and so I came to say thank you. But we also took the opportunity to discuss issues of bilateral cooperation and trade and economic cooperation between our two countries. We know that for a very long time, our countries trade amongst each other. Our people travel freely amongst each other. There's a big Malian population living in Ghana. They are involved in business. They are settled peacefully in Ghana. They're actually citizens of both Ghana and Mali. And so we had the opportunity to discuss how we can make our economic relations even stronger. And we also have a transit corridor. A lot of long-distance drivers, both Malian and Ghanaians, convey goods from our ports to Mali and transport goods from Mali back to our port for export. And so we discussed how we can remove the challenges so that it's easy for these drivers who are involved in the transit of goods to be able to do their work without any problems. And most importantly, we discussed issues of how we can strengthen our defense cooperation in the light of the fight against terrorism, and how Ghana can be of help in terms of cooperating with the alliance AES in terms of the fight against terrorism, because we all occupy the same sub-region, and terrorism in one country is a threat to all of us. And so we had quite a discussion on how we can strengthen our bilateral relations in terms of the fight against terrorism. And finally, we discussed the revival of the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation between Mali and Ghana. The last meeting was in 2011 in Accra. And the next meeting was supposed to take place here, but due to some circumstances, it didn't happen. And so we're looking to revive it so that as early as possible, we can send our technical team to come and sit with our Malian counterparts and discuss how we can increase and strengthen the cooperation that exists between our two countries. We discussed it, and we recognize that there's been some issues of trust, problems with trust between the two groups. But at the same time, I think that we must establish mutual respect for each other. And I'm sure that if we're able to do that, we can continue to work together. I think that there's a choice that Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have taken, but that won't be an impediment in us continuing to have our bilateral relations with all those countries. We're brothers, and God put us in this sub-region for a purpose. And so whether we like it or not, we have to live together. And so I think that we must establish a mutual respect between the AES and ECOWAS. And I'm sure that if we're able to build on that respect and trust, should be able to work together. I'm an old face because I've been president before. I've been chairman of ECOWAS before. But again, I'm a new face because I was just elected. And so Ghana is prepared to continue to play the role of a bridge between our two groups, the ECOWAS and the Alliance of Sahelian States.
Well, so on the subject, because Dr. Daniel Dramani Kipo-Sunyezi is a senior research fellow at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, LESIAD, at the University of Ghana, and he's joining us for more details on this. Good afternoon, sir. Now, the Malian junta leader, General Goita, personally received President Mahama at the airport on Saturday. How significant is this move in terms of diplomatic relations?
Thank you very much. I think that is a very important move of our president, His Excellency, for trying to continue Ghana's traditional foreign policy of good neighborliness. And on the side of the Malian general, of course, that is a very good sign. He wasn't represented. He was there in person. He welcomed our president to Mali. That clearly shows a good relation between Ghana and Mali. That's a very good part, because few days or few era we saw the challenges ECOWAS had with these military rulers. So Ghana is carving a new image, a new perspective. I think that this is a very positive one. We are hoping that such a bilateral relation, diplomatic move of Ghana and Mali possibly could cement the relation, build on the trust between Ghana and Mali, strengthen the sub-regional integration. And I think that is a very good move.
Now, Doc, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they have distanced themselves from ECOWAS and they formed their own bloc, the Alliance of Sahel States. Now, how would you describe this shuttle diplomatic mission by the President Mahama?
Yeah, it's a very delicate one, as being president of Ghana, who is an active member of ECOWAS, and also going to a bloc, a new bloc, which has just decided to break away from ECOWAS. So it put him in a very delicate, but he being a very experienced, as he rightly said, it is not a new face on the regional politics. He knows the complexities of ECOWAS had with this new bloc. But I believe that he is trying to, it's a bridge, which I think is a very commendable. Maybe we could have this bloc come back to ECOWAS. That is very possible in the near future if we're able to build on trust issue. Because of the decision ECOWAS took to intervene militarily, that led to this kind of thing. So if we're able to give an assurance that we are neighbors, Ghana need Mali, Mali need Ghana, Ghana need Burkina, Burkina need Ghana, the same to Niger, we should be able to use this brotherly approach, friendliness, to be able to see either they come together or we should be able to merge ECOWAS with AES, and we should be able to promote the interests of the sub-region. And I think the president is in the right direction. It's a very delicate but very progressive one that the president is doing.
Right. Now, Doc, President Mahama has appointed Larry Bevlo Latte as Ghana's special envoy to the Alliance of Sahel States. Some people have disagreed with this move, but as in your capacity as an international relations expert, do you agree that this may be a strategic choice?
I agree that it's a very strategic choice. And I think that the president appointment of this special envoy is very good in the sense that the relation has been bad, distrust, And Ghana cannot afford to continue in that tangent. So the president visit and the envoy are effort to be able to cement the relation between Ghana and Mali, and not just Ghana and Mali, but Burkina and Niger. So having this special envoy, who is also a very experienced politician and above all is a military officer, he will be able to move the politics, dynamics, and diplomacy and be able to merge AES, the Alliance for Sahel States, be able to merge it with ECOWAS. So I think it is appropriate. And that appointment is something that should be commendable rather than being condemned, because we should be able to promote peace. We should be able to work together with our neighbors, which is very important. Ghana cannot do without Mali. Right. Ghana cannot do without Burkina. What affects Burkina affects Ghana. If there's a terrorist attack, insurgency, instability in Burkina, obviously we'll have a spillover effect in Ghana. So I think that the president of Ghana has taken the right decision with the visit and trying to foster unity to be able to build on trust and be able to reconnect Ghana to this Sahel state. And I think that is the appointment of the envoy is appropriate, and that the government of Ghana under His Excellency President John Mahama is on the right direction.
Doc, stay with us a bit more, because ECOWAS has urged its remaining 12 members to continue recognizing the national passports of these 3 countries. How important is this for the possibility of these nations rejoining the bloc in the future?
So that is closely related to what I'm saying, that ECOWAS cannot afford. It is unfortunate that these people will have to experience this breakaway, and it will not serve anybody's interest. It is better we find a way to work with these countries to be able to bring back. After all, what is the essence of integration? It's about numbers. So if from 15 member states we are coming back to 10, 9, then you see that the integration we are falling apart. So I think it's appropriate that we find a way to build on. And that is what ECOWAS is indirectly doing by recognizing and still encouraging that we allow them, we recognize their passport and still allow the free movement of citizens.
And
that lastly, is part of the way.
Right. Lastly, before you go, what do you assess, or how do you assess the role of the African Union in mediating the tensions between ECOWAS and these 3 Sahelian countries?
Yes, African Union is the mother, is the continental body. ECOWAS is a subset of it, and Alliance is also an extension, also a breakaway from ECOWAS. So it means that ECOWAS, African Union, should be the right one to be able to foster. And it's better we are able to solve our own problems within our continent than inviting other EU member states or inviting the United Nations to do for us. So I think it's appropriate for African Union, and their mediation and the role they are playing are very much appreciated. It is a hope that we will be able to see these 3 members back to our continent, back to our sub-regional body, and then we'll move together as a 15-member bloc for economic integration and political unity of our sub-region. So African Union is welcome.
We appreciate your time with us. Dr. Daniel Dramani Kipo Sunyeji is the Senior Research Fellow at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy at the University of Ghana. We have more stories for you, and George has that for you. George.
Well, you're still watching the Weekend Central, and more news this afternoon. Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, says government remains resolute in bringing finality to various chieftaincy disputes. Speaking in an interview, the minister bemoaned the soaring violence in parts of the country while appealing to the National House of Chiefs to rally behind government quest in settling these disputes. Take a listen.
Chiefs play a crucial role in sustaining good governance and economic development. They are responsible for encouraging development projects, promoting cultural understanding and settling disputes in communities, among others. However, the growing incidence of chieftaincy disputes remain a step back to socio-economic development in the country. Speaking exclusively to TV3 after a courtesy call by the National Peace Council, Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, reiterated government commitment in finding lasting solutions to various chieftaincy disputes in the country.
These times, you are going to see the chief imams reps, the members of the Economical Council, the traditional authorities, the political leadership. We are going to come together to make sure that we are able to build peace, and there will be peace. So this role is going to be a very crucial one. So we've assured them that we have to re-engage them. It cannot be business as usual.
He called on various stakeholders to rally behind government quest to bring in peace to affected communities.
The search for peace must be a collective effort. And therefore, we should not leave it to only the winners, the winning party. The opposition party must also play a role. And clearly, if all of us agree to search for peace, we will find peace. But if one is looking for peace, one is sabotaging the effort, we can't find peace. Therefore, we must be truthful to each other. We must talk truth to power.
Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council pledged commitment in keeping the peace and unity.
We thought it is a duty to pay a visit to Honorable Minister. So together we fashion out what we can do to help particularly deal with issues that confront chieftaincy in our country and issues that confront religion in our country, and even issues that confront our local governance, because these things have bearing on the peace of our country. And we think that it's important we engage early so that we are able to find solutions to some of the problems we are facing as a country.
The courtesy call gave both parties an opportunity to strategize in ensuring peace and national cohesion.
And now to one of our headline stories. Safety on most major roads in the Ashanti region is being compromised owing to non-functioning of streetlights. In Kumasi, the situation, according to city authorities, continue to contribute to the surge in pedestrian knockdowns and fatalities. But government is taking steps to fix the streetlights on some highways in the region. And now let's engage our regional correspondent, Ibrahim Biochar, on this very development and the way forward. Ibrahim, you've been monitoring this very situation, and how bad is it? And tell us how the issue of streetlights is in the region. Ibrahim, we can't hear you. Can you unmute your mic? Yeah.
Okay, George, like I said, a very, very dire situation.
Yeah.
Because currently driving on certain major roads within Greater Kumasi at night is becoming increasingly uncomfortable and risky, because while some street lights work intermittently, many others have remained non-functional for an extended period, posing a threat to both motorists and pedestrians. In the Ashanti region, between January and now, we've recorded not less than 100 pedestrian knockdowns or fatalities, and these are mostly attributed to the absence of street lights, because most of these happen in the night. So you walk from the Feiasi Road, about 14-15 kilometer stretch, you will not find one single functioning street light. You walk on the Tech Junction, that's the major Kumasi Accra Road, from Tech Junction to Ejiso, the street lights are not functioning, swarming. Two, we are recording similar situations. So there has been several calls by motorists and pedestrians for government to try and fix the road. If we remember, Media General also launched similar campaign looking at areas where street lights have not been functioning for a number of months or years. Fortunately, the government has listened and they have awarded contract to fix some major roads within Kumasi. But one key issue that came up when they are trying to report that the contractors who will be doing this work has to do with theft on some of the cables connecting the street light. They have also raised concern that occasionally we see people stealing some of the cables, which also contributes to the absence or non-functioning of street lights. So the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amuakwene, has issued a stern warning to persons who are engaged in this illegality and have told them that whoever is found will be arrested and made to face the law. Let's take a listen to what the Ashanti Regional has been telling us after visiting people.
It will be 2 years to fix and maintain. And in maintaining same, our major concern as a government is the increasing theft of the cables that they use in fixing these street lights. And we sent a clear warning out there that yesterday at RECSEC we discussed this issue. And we are all and out to make sure that we curb this problem So we fix the street lights, people go in there and then take away the cables. The copper ones are, prone to a lot of these TV. So Preforce is offering an aluminum option. But even with that, we're still going to make sure that at least we get a scapegoat. And once we're able to do that, we will be very sure that the other criminals out there would take a cue from that the laws of Ghana is at work and our security agencies are up and doing. So this matter has been discussed at RECSEC to make sure that when we fix the street lights, we will not lose them to these criminals. We're working with the police department and the signal department. The signals unit control the CCTV cameras on the streets, and the police department, I'm sure you know what they do. Again, we are employing some community watch task force to help us in this regard.
Yeah, Ibrahim. And so here in the capital, the regional minister says she's going to fix this street lights in 50 days. And you made us aware that in the Ashanti region, a contract has been awarded. Were timelines given in any way?
Well, as soon as possible, because they have even started fixing some of the street lights. So it's a 2-year contract. So they are fixing the major highways from Ejusu or Ejusu-Busiansi to a check roundabout. Then we are also looking at Swami to Buoho. Then we have other internal ones in Shayeso and other places. So we are told that latest by a month, we will start seeing light on our major streets. So the contract, as we speak, has been awarded, and the contractors have begun working.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Ibrahim Biochar is our Ashanti regional correspondent, bringing us up to speed on the non-functioning street lights and the impact it's having on endeavors in the region. Judith.
Absolutely. Now, the Kambunli community in the Elembele district of the Western region is urgently appealing for an overpass to help residents, especially school children, safely cross the busy Ghana-Côte d'Ivoire highway. Now, the lack of a secure crossing point poses significant risks to pedestrians, particularly children. Irama Smith has more in this report.
Kambunli, a close-knit community of farmers and fishermen with a population of about 5,000, is located along the Takrady-Côte d'Ivoire highway. School children here must cross the busy international route to access a cluster of schools on the other side of the community, a significant risk to their safety. A functional underpass constructed by the community in the 1980s was destroyed during a road rehabilitation. The contractor allegedly failed to incorporate the community's concerns and instead channeled the drainage system into the underpass, rendering it unusable. As a result, residents, both young and old, are forced to brave the busy highway to move to the other side, which significantly hosts most of the social amenities.
As you can see, this is a Lagos-Abidjan corridor, and it is a highway. But when you go there and the children are crossing, children from class 1 up to GHS3, it is not easy for them to cross. Yes, there is an old one which was constructed by the contractor when they were constructing the road. But it has been abandoned because it was not all that in good shape. The erosion, there is a heap of sand in it. So it makes it impossible for the children to use it.
But in this challenge emerges 54-year-old Nuhu Dauda. For the past 18 years, Nuhu has selflessly ensured the safe passage of school children across the busy highway. As the sun rises over Kambunli, Nuhu Dauda prepares to cross with his charges. Twice a day, he voluntarily escorts the children across the road, safeguarding them from the dangers of traffic accidents.
But sometimes pressure not just for you know why I'm trying to be there 1 month, not just say I crowd no so be and check the margin. Me and Uncle no,
looking at the cluster of schools here, our population is very, very great. We have about 750 students crossing this road every day. In fact, it is a headache. You being the head is a problem. For the past, when he was not doing this job, the cars, the motors have been knocking down our students just like that. But since he started, I think that thing has stopped.
To appreciate his efforts, Kambunli indigents in the diaspora have honored Nuhu Dauda, was calling on the Elembele District Assembly to enroll him into the community police program.
As early as 6:30, he's here. And so therefore, to be able to sustain it, we think that the district assembly must come in and then make sure he's employed and given the needed training by the MTTU so that they teach him the best practices that they can give him so that these children can be protected.
They are also making an urgent appeal for an overpass.
This is something that we have been fighting for over the years, but all our effort has proved futile. So we're fighting for either underpass or overpass. I think that is a lasting solution to the problem, but that has not yielded any results.
Until the overpass is constructed, the school children of Kambunli will continue to rely on the benevolence of Nuhu Dauda or risk their lives crossing the busy Takoradi-Elubo highway to access education. This stark reality raises concerns about what the future holds when selfless individuals like Nuhu Dauda are no longer able to volunteer their time. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Kambunli, Elembele District.
Let's head to the northern region now. Stakeholders in agricultural development in northern Ghana under the Greater Rural Opportunities for Women 2 project are strongly advocating for the use of Biochar technology to improve soil fertility. According to them, the soil in Ghana is acidic, therefore the need for Biochar technology to elevate the soil and allow the nutrients to improve soil fertility. Let's take a listen to what some of the stakeholders have been saying.
Several benefits with biochar. The first one is soil sequestration, because we are doing a climate project, so the aim is to reduce the CO2 and the CH4 from the atmosphere, which is what causes global warming and therefore climate change and therefore extreme climate events like floods, heavy floods or heavy droughts. But alongside climate sequestration that happens because then you put the biochar in the soil, and so this allows to sequester the biochar for thousands of years according to scientific studies. It brings a lot of side co-benefits, such as the soil improvement, because biochar is a soil enhancer. So basically you enrich the biochar with manure or compost. You use it as an organic fertilizer in the soil, and this incredibly betters the soil quality. So it holds the nutrient and it releases it as needed. It increases significantly agricultural production from 10 to 40%. And also bring into higher quality crops. Then, alongside carbon sequestration and soil improvement, there are also benefits financially and from the point of view of women empowerment.
Now, generally, the soils in Ghana are acidic. Therefore, we need something to renovate the soil. The years that we've been using synthetic fertilizers has allowed the fertilizers not to work properly. Now, by incorporating biochar, it renovates the soil and allows the nutrients to work very well with the plants. So generally, if you mix biochar with organic manure, it renovates the soil, increases the soil carbon content, and generally gives a better crop. It also acts as a sponge in order to allow water retention to stay in the soil, and then also allows, if there's too much water, for it to run off or to be soaked up by the biochar, not flooding your fields.
Let's now connect with my colleague Christopher Mwako on how the use of biochar technology is improving soil quality in the northern regions. Chris, good afternoon. How are farmers in the region generally being impacted by this new technology?
Yes, so Judith, you know, about 80 to 85% of the people in this part of the country are farmers. And so for them, any technology that, as it were, will improve the soil quality for them to be able to go about their agricultural activities is something that they will welcome. And so some of them have actually used this method, and for them, it is really, really helping them, even though that method is currently not on a large scale, but the farmers are saying that it is something that will improve upon the soil quality because they are moving away from the use of the chemical fertilizer to the use of Biochar to improve the soil fertility. And so they are very happy and only urging government to embrace this technology to be able to reach other parts of the country.
Ryan, many thanks for your time. Christopher Amwako is our correspondent in the northern region. He has been bringing us all the details as regards to biochar technology in the region. Now, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has named 3 nominees to serve on the General Legal Council. The General Legal Council is responsible for regulating legal education and professional conduct in Ghana. The nominations are in accordance with Section 1(2) of the Legal Professional Act 1960 and paragraph 21D of its first schedule, announced in the statement from the Attorney General's office. And the statement noted that President John Dramani Mahama has been informed of these nominations. As you can see on that screen, you can see those who have been nominated into the General Legal Council. Francis Xavier Sosu is a Member of Parliament for Medina. We also have Clara Berry Kesa T, who is a lecturer at the University of Ghana School of Law, and of course, Dr. Abdul Basit Aziz Bamba, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. And of course, you're still watching Weekend Central. We'll go for a short break. We'll be back with more news. Do stay.
Parliament's intent to go paperless is yet to take place a decade after the initiative was introduced. My colleague Evelyn Tingma reports, despite efforts being made, installed PC tablets on members of Parliament's work tables are yet to be fully operational.
In his closing remarks to members of the legislature for the dissolution of the 8th Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament mentioned that Ghana's 9th Parliament will go paperless.
Those of you who were born before computer, the BBC, you have to up your game. Very soon, the Parliament of Ghana will go paperless. And if you were born before computer, nobody will tell you that part of the qualifications of being a member of Parliament is to be a computer literate.
He is not the first speaker to have said this. Parliament's efforts to adopt electronic technology date back to the 6th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Then Speaker of Parliament Edward Doe Ajaho in 2014 oversaw the refurbishment of a luxurious chamber complete with state-of-the-art furniture and equipment. Sophisticated devices were installed on MPs' work tables to allow legislators to access online information and parliamentary documents with just a press of a button.
Copies of the daily order paper, votes and proceedings, reports of committees, the Constitution, the standing orders of Parliament and other documents were to be imputed into the PC tablets for easy access by MPs. The plan was to make Parliament chamber a paperless one.
However, several years later, the paperless chamber initiative has not materialized. The machines that were procured costing millions of taxpayers' funds were never used for the intended purpose and have now been discarded. Members of the 9th Parliament began work in a newly retrofitted chamber with new digitized tablets and speakers fitted on their desks. So I ask, how different are these machines from the previous ones and what information do they contain?
The old ones, when we were using it, there were problems. At times you could be there and it will switch it on itself on, and you have to fight or you have to move to another place to maybe make your submission. But this one, so far so good.
You wouldn't say that it's 100% because the thing is as functional as the information that is put in it. At the moment you see our standing orders and not standing orders, the on the paper, the votes and proceedings and all that on it. Members are even suggesting that statements and things that we do, in order to print numerous copies of statement, you could just put it on it so that members who want to contribute could go there and read. There's so much we can do with that, but I don't think we are still underutilizing it.
And how have the MPs been utilizing these gadgets so far?
When it comes to votes and proceedings, and then the order paper, it shows on it. And then when it comes to the handset, everything shows on it. We are using it. Some people are still used to the paper, but I prefer to use it. It's working. They've set it up in such a way where we can now start to use it to vote. You can also use it to clock in instead of signing your name on a piece of paper. But I hope, let's give it some time.
We don't print more of the other papers now because everything is on the tablet. And if there is any report, it is also put in there. So we just go online and read. And I know when it is in full operation, we'll do our attendance and everything that when you come, you key in with your thumb and then you are good to go.
When I entered into the office that was given me, the MP that was in that office, I saw that they had a volume pack of papers, that order papers and bills and hazard and so many things. And when it becomes so voluminous like that, even reading becomes a problem. If we can all use it and electronically we can operationalize things over here, I think it would be best for us.
Many parliaments around the world have successfully implemented paperless systems, leveraging technology to streamline their operations, contributing to more efficient and environmentally friendly parliamentary process.
One can only hope and pray that Ghana's 9th Parliament will make good use of the newly installed machines as soon as possible to avert another waste of the taxpayers' money. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Parliament House.
Now to a special feature, she conquered her homophobia to pursue a career in nursing. Despite financial hurdles, which led to a long wait for her to go to the nursing training college, she baked and sold pastries to fund her education. My colleague Ekwia Wadako shares the inspiring story of a critical care nurse who is blazing a trail in Ghana's burn care.
Today, we take you on a journey to one of the most critical care units here at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where some young female nurses shun away from because of how intricate the cases they receive are. However, one woman, one icon, one remarkable figure at the unit is breaking all odds. It's working with her dedication and skills to bridge the gaps when it comes to young female nurses assuming roles at the department. Time check. It's almost 6 a.m. and would have to meet our icon for the day.
Her day begins with a sight of open sores from burn victims or perhaps the unpleasant scenes of trauma cases. For over 2 decades, Madam Safwa Ompong has dedicated her life to the burns unit, a critical care department often described as not for the faint-hearted. The Deputy Chief Nursing Officer of the burns unit at Kolebu Teaching Hospital has earned the nickname Safwa is burns from her team.
It's not easy because you finish with one dress and you are so wet, your waist, as I'm staying here, my waist is but this one has been doing the work for over 2 decades. So you can run to her sometimes and be like, yes, so how are you doing it? Just a day ago, we gave one of our patients about 1,000+ medicine, which was human albumin, and it came from her coffers.
Her journey started in a tunnel of uncertainty, doubt, struggle, and hardship.
They have written to me that you have passed the exams and you have to come for interview so that you can start your school. And my father too was sick. Where do I get money? And my school has written to me that we have taken you. Your performance was good, so come. I can't go to school. And that is when I got to know that at times it's not easy. When parents become sick, if you are not able to get people to support, that becomes the end of whatever dreams you are dreaming of.
From selling on the streets of the Kwame Nkrumah Circle between 1992 and 1996, she overcame numerous challenges to break barriers that almost derailed her dreams.
Or below, there used to be 14 cities. That was the amount of money I had to pay for me to come to the nursing school, and I wasn't able to get it. I sold meat pie, donuts. I come to cycle and I saw all those things. The shops around decided that, oh, let us help by taking some of your meat pie for sales. And by 12, my meat pie is finished.
During her transfer to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, she was a nursing trainee and among the first few nurses to accept postings to the National Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and Burns Center. Madame Safwa Ompong recounts her first day at the burns unit.
The first day I came, I was told this place is very tedious, so it's better they change you from the department to a different department. Even it was a man who told me that this place is too difficult for a woman to work in, so it's better you change or go to a place where you see nurses sitting down, relaxing. I said no. Sometimes men can actually bring your morale down. when you want to work. So, but all these things never affected me, no.
Just 15 minutes into meeting with the Deputy Chief Nursing Officer, an emergency call came in. She was needed to attend to a trauma case involving a middle-aged man admitted to the department. The shrill and loud sound of burn victims at the ward could be haunting. Another critical case at the unit involves a 5-month-old baby. She is the only baby currently in the unit, suffering from a partial body burn injury caused by hot water. With the support of a dedicated team at the burns unit, Madam Ompong's invaluable skills, passion, empathy, and knowledge have become a significant pillar for the unit, the burn team, and the patients as a whole.
One person that inspires us a lot. She mentors almost everybody that comes to the burns ward, either to do clinicals, anybody. So long as you are willing to learn, she's never ready to teach you.
Here in burns unit, everybody works. If you don't like work, you can't come to the burns unit. So it's been a tough moment, and sometimes we get cases that we don't even expect.
In burns, that can be something that occurs a bit more than usual. And so being here for so long, it's been a very brave decision by her to have stayed in burns for so long.
Madam Safwa Ompong is mentoring young nurses and medical doctors in a department desperately in need of more skilled professionals.
A lot of nurses really leave this place because of the cases that come. So the young ones, at times when you see a case and you are not able to have confidence in yourself, you will leave. There are even times when nurses are even posted here and they will say that, no, if you don't take me off this place, I will resign.
The burn patient care includes series of treatment. For Safwa Ompong, first aid treatment for mild to major burns is fundamental.
Well, let's know what you make of this very story and other stories that have been aired so far. Go on to Facebook, you're live, TV3 Ghana. Engage us with your comments and many more. And moving on to the next, former Foreign Affairs Minister and UN Secretary General Special Representative for Libya and head of the United Nations Support Mission in Libya, Hannah Tete, has encouraged people in positions to create enabling environment for women to thrive. Her comment comes as the world marked International Women's Day yesterday.
When I was the special representative of the Secretary General to the African Union, the UN Secretary General special representative to the African Union, on the 20th anniversary of Security Council Resolution 1325 and its affiliated resolutions on women and peace and security, I felt that the work that African women peacemakers had done was to a large extent undocumented and unknown. And so with the AU Commissioner for Political Affairs at the time, Madam Minata Samate, we did a joint publication called She Stands for Peace, 20 years, 20 stories. And what we did with She Stands for Peace was that we invited African women who had been involved in these processes to tell their stories and to send whatever information they felt they wanted to share to a particular site that we created for aggregation of all of these stories. And of course, we wanted to make sure that what we're saying were factual. So we used a lot of the UN offices in the country to give cross-reference the stories that we were told to find out whether indeed this was what had happened had this woman been involved, as she said she had been. And in that book, She Stands for Peace, 20 Women, 20 Stories, I was surprised to find out just how many brave and courageous women have stood up to do things not expecting to be celebrated, not expecting their work to be highlighted, but just to make a difference in their countries and to help countries that were going through instability to return to stability and to progress. And that's just one example. I could mention others, but the point I'm making is, if you have the opportunity to lift up women anywhere, you should do so. Because by so doing, and having, you know, that critical mass of women being shown as capable, as confident, as effective, just creates so much more opportunities for many other women as well.
What would you say about those who are of the view that women must earn their positions? Because I hear you make the argument of, yes, support them. Earlier you talked about working hard enough. How do you marry that? Earn your position, and yet we must also make room for women, like we even have spelled out in the affirmative action law, which was passed just last week.
You know, I think it's important, while we create opportunity for those who otherwise would not have the opportunity, if you rely only on affirmative action and you don't create a competitive environment where people understand that they have the opportunity and they also have an obligation to earn their place, then of course what happens is that it tends to even cheapen the position, because the assumption is that, well, we can give a token appointment and that's all that is necessary. So there is very much the need to continue to work and to demonstrate that what you are doing is important, it adds value, and that you are very good at what you do, and that's why you have also earned the right to be there. Having had the kind of environment we've had, where there has been long-term advocacy for women's inclusion and participation, we are lucky to be in a country that has had that. But we should not consider it as a free ride to the positions that we want to have. We still have to make sure that we demonstrate our capabilities and competence so that those who we lead also have confidence in us.
So we should still create the quota that we have in our affirmative action law, but ensure there's competitiveness.
And ensure that those who fill the quota are the best. Because you see, what will happen with that is that at some point in time we will have the affirmative action law, but the need for its implementation will be self-evident. You won't need the affirmative. Ideally, you are working towards a situation where you won't need affirmative action. That's what you want to achieve.
Now, the rampant occurrence of teenage pregnancy at the Akoko Presbyterian School in Suhum inspired Cornelius Ano, a teacher, to set up a football club which aims to provide other avenues for girls to spend their free time. Now, this, according to the founder, will help girls stay away from vices that will make them parents at an early age. Akose J explores how the project inspiring girls, young girls, and aiding them to dream big.
Jump, jump.
It's training day for a group of young girls in Suhum, a peri-urban town situated about 67.5 kilometers from Ghana's capital, Accra. The teenagers eagerly go through the paces, fueling their hopes of eventually becoming world beaters. Watching the session in a pensive mood is Sophia Bwachua Kina. Sophia was a promising goalkeeper a few months ago, but she now carries a fetus in her womb. At just 13, her football dream has been put on hold.
I want to play with my mates, but I know I have missed a great opportunity. I want to take my studies seriously to build a better future for myself. My football idol is Kiara Kitten.
Now a school dropout, Sophia is supported by her father, who remains hopeful that his child will make a return to the pitch after giving birth.
Yeah, farmer and I farming work in the Hatiti. Now, due to a farming, no, and what a woman.
I am a farmer. Farming is the main occupation in this town. The difficulties I have faced in life forced my children into this predicament. But I am hoping that through the academy, they can build a better future for themselves.
When say a normal be farmer, my man has back to what they are doing.
In the last few years, several girls in Suhum have fallen victim to teenage pregnancy, ultimately missing out on opportunities to improve their standards of living. In an attempt to curb this problem, the Ochiman Ladies was formed.
Football has been an instrument to cause a lot of change in different parts of the world. But here in Akoko, the Ochiman Girls Football Academy are using football to curtail the rampant occurrence of teenage pregnancies in this particular community. What they're doing is to create that safe haven for girls by teaching them how to play and also teaching them how to win in life.
The formation of the girls' team has been a ray of hope for young girls like Letitia, who also gave birth at a tender age. Despite combining schoolwork with motherhood, she's confident the Football Academy will be her epiphany into a better future.
Even though somehow I have joined Ochiman Girls Football Academy, and I am hoping to create a good future for me and my daughter.
For other young female footballers, the academy is their safe haven, their avenue for learning life's lessons and avoiding the troubles that come with teenage pregnancy.
I have dreamt of becoming a professional footballer. However, due to the rise of teenage pregnancy, I decided to join Ochiman Girls Football Academy to develop my talents and stay away from activities that can endanger my football career.
My football idol, Mohamed Kudus, because of the skills he had, I wanted to play like him. I would also want to be on the world stage like him.
For Madame Abna Ijewa, finding the balance between teaching young girls to take their studies seriously and imparting the knowledge of celibacy is her main objective at the club.
We are not trying to glorify teenage pregnancy in our community, but we are trying to find a way to make it a balance so that those who have been casualties will not exempt themselves from the girls, but will also come forward not to giving up their dreams and join us to create a better future for them.
While other girls in some other communities are allowed to live their lives, unfortunately, for teenage girls who happen to find themselves in Akoko due to poverty, they have to first jump the hurdle of avoiding teenage pregnancies, also make sure they stay in school. And now for a lot of the girls in this community, they are using football to create that safe space to help them build a better future for themselves. For 3 Sports, Akosia AJ, here in Akoko.
Judith, I'm really inspired by this story.
Very much inspired. Interesting report by Akosia AJ, by the way. And yes, that's how we wrap up the bulletin right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. I've been doing this with...
My name is George Cradin. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's 3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.